Abby, Mike Tomlin's not exactly Terry Bradshaw's choice for favorite head coach in the National Football League. In case you missed it from earlier, check out the comments Bradshaw made, a Steeler legend, about a pretty damn good Steeler coach.
I don't think he's a great coach at all. He's a nice coach, and to me, I've said this. I've said he's really a great cheerleader guy. I don't know what he does, but I don't think that he's a great coach at all. His name never even pops in my mind when we think about great coaches in the NFL.
Whoa! Dave Ross joining the rally right here on Twitter to discuss this Mike Tomlin, Terry Bradshaw spat. That was Terry Bradshaw with his opening salvo saying, I look at him more as a cheerleader, not necessarily a great head coach. Tomlin responded to those comments today because the media was interested to hear what he had to say. Let's take a listen.
I appreciate the support, but criticism and critique are very much a part of our business, and it's an element of our business that as a competitor I embrace. The term great is something that I have a great deal of respect for. I certainly don't think that my resume to this point reads as great, but very few coaches' resumes read as that at this point. Guys like Bill in New England probably can say that, or Pop down in San Antonio, but I think the rest of us are just working stiffs, to be quite honest with you. Now, that being said, terms like cheerleader guy, to me, maybe fall outside the bounds of critique or criticism. They probably fall more toward the area of disrespect and unprofessional. But what do I know? I grew up a Dallas fan, particularly a Hollywood Henderson fan.
Dave, for the kiddos at home, please inform them what exactly he's talking about as a Hollywood Henderson fan and how that might be a subtle jab at TB.
Not so subtle for the old schoolers like me. Yeah, this is a shot back to the 70s when the Cowboys and Steelers played in two very close and hard-fought Super Bowls that Terry Bradshaw was the quarterback in. Thomas Hollywood Henderson was a linebacker for the Cowboys then, and he said, well, Terry Bradshaw is so stupid, he couldn't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the A. So there was a lot of bad blood between these two way back in the day. I love the fact that Tomlin, he didn't have to go that route, but that was a nice, subtle dig. Virginia Beach guy Mike Tomlin, so I always find myself rooting for him, even though he's a Steeler. But I don't know that it was out of bounds for Bradshaw to say that, because when you think about a cheerleader, quote-unquote, as a head coach, Jimmy Johnson, he won 2 Super Bowls in Dallas, and a lot of people say he let his coordinators coach, and really, he was the last guy, so the coaching really was done by the guys in the trenches. So I get it that he takes offense to it, but really, our own Brian McFadden, who won a Super Bowl with this guy, says he's a great coach, not a good coach, a great coach, but really, what makes a great coach is a guy you want to go to the wall for, and I think Mike Tomlin, people that play for him, would go to the wall for him and through that wall. So, yeah, maybe he takes it as a slap in the face, but he really shouldn't. Because sometimes cheerleaders make the absolute best coaches.
Yeah, and especially in today's age with the modern pro athlete, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be a motivator.
No.
They should be so on their own, and sometimes you have to massage personalities, coddle the athletes a little bit.
He shouldn't have to give his resume to Terry Bradshaw or anybody.
His resume is pretty damn good.
Right?
So take a look at it, Terry, in case you had forgotten a few of the bullet points on that resume. Because there's a lot of coaches who would love to be called a cheerleader and have that resume.
I hope Hollywood Henderson gets involved in this, because this could get really juicy. Hollywood still has a lot of things to say.